Hi, my friends and family. This is Trey Smith, and you're watching Trey's Timeless 15 Minutes of Explain on Odyssey and YouTube. And today I'm going to tell you how limits can free you. Wop, wop, you gotta glitch the matrix. Gotta glitch the matrix. And you also still gotta shock the monkey. While you glitch the matrix. How limits can free you. What are your limits, your true limits? Well, say today, my personal limits are, it's raining, and some planes are making sure that the plan for the nanotech rain dump occurred. In a 3D fleshy clay suit, your limits or your limitations are obviously you must eat, sleep, keep your hygiene somehow, keep your immunity system going somehow if you still have one of your own, work, play, if you're smart, piss, defecate, definitely, unless you want to explode of constipation, literally. What does your spirit or soul need? What are the limitations of your personal blueprint or life plan? So your soul or your spirit had a plan, as I've said in previous episodes, in this lifetime to learn or to contribute something, perhaps a song or an invention, if you were really lucky, but in some way to serve humanity in this lifetime. And if you're a wise person or a Gnostic, you can hopefully figure out what your personal blueprint is. Thus, you will know a guide plan or a game plan, a frame that would make sense for your evolution rather than just being a wage slave. Miles Davis said, discipline is freedom. And so I'm going to have to add the no to this, the old t-shirt from my youth. No discipline, no freedom. No discipline, no freedom. Knowing, on the other hand, the flesh suit is limited is a key to freedom in lifetime now. Okay? For example, most likely your body will die, give way, or gradually become useless or wrinkled and not be able to work very efficiently. And this is called entropy in the flesh suit. The negative aliens, of course, have systematically greatly accelerated this in so many ways I probably couldn't count them all, or at least not in a 15-minute video. But for an example of how your limits can free you, say you had limitless free speech and you say whatever you want all the time with no discipline, spewing forth your venom, your rage. This is what an emotional vampire will do. Cussing, spewing your rage, your venom. Well, if you've had the herpes simplex before, you know what happens if you act like that, right? So this is why the simplex is not only an example of how the mind-body connection, well, cancer is the most extreme, but the simplex is the most obvious, right? So it's true with nearly probably every disease. So your limits are, if you were made in the image of the Most High Christ, if you talk like the devil, you're going to make your divine avatar form sick. But most likely, most people are going to have entropy in the flesh suit, and the negative aliens have systematically tried to make this expedite this process. So the Satanic Temple of Santa Cruz, they there was an article in the Free Weekly about how they were taking care under the Save Our Shores program. They were taking care of Seabright Beach for a year, cleaning up the trash to try to sanitize the image of the Satanic Temple and to clean up the beach. But I met this man who's a landscaper who lives in a box truck that used to talk to me all the time before the lockdown, but he still wears the mask a lot, and he quit talking to me during the lockdown. But once he showed me that he used to live in the forest, he showed me this black plastic card he got from joining the Satanic Temple of Santa Cruz, and it said a bunch of things like Lucifer means the light bearer and freedom, and you're free to do whatever you want. And of course, it didn't say anything about morality or self-respect. It just said you're free. You have free will, a perversion of free will, or rather, obviously. So compare this to the reality of the moral, divine, karmic reality of common law or moral law. Okay, your limits are you must never break what Mark Passio calls the pillars of enlightenment. If you want peace, if you want to know how your limits can free you, okay, and this is the sacred divine masculine principle, which is self-defense, hopefully harmlessly and not causing any violence. You never initiate violence, and that's the sacred divine feminine principle, the second pillar of Mark Passio's definition of enlightenment, and that is the non-aggression principle. You never do anything to coerce or harm or hurt anyone else's body or stuff, and ideally your own, right? So seeing that every man for himself is a pathetic statement in the fifth dimension. It's complete maya or illusion, okay? It's obvious. Feeling the imperative need for community and freedom of choice, okay? And seeing the narcissistic predator entities in yours or other people's ego as grave limitations. You become freed of them, okay? Because you see that you don't have to obey these dark, evil spirits, okay? For example, compare the GLBTQFUID politics to the actual reality, okay? Where they say, basically the subconscious message is you can identify as anything you want, make up any gender you want, be anything you want, as long as you're not heterosexual and you don't reproduce and you don't want to have a traditional family with nurturance and morality for your children, right? It's against morality, moral relativity. So knowing that the reality is that we are each spiritually whole, or some say a whole universe into ourselves, yet our bodies are whole in the yin-yang, or the tantric or sacred Taoist sexual embrace, or for the sexual reproduction, it requires a male and female body. If we're doing it organically, okay? So the heterosexual coupling that causes physical creation of humans to reproduce is the symbol of humanity. Really, the basic function of basic building block. The Tao says of humanity is the family. Then there's the town or the neighborhood. A healthy family builds a healthy town. A healthy town builds a healthier, etc. So, and then how limits can free you another way is through nutrition. If you do as I've done, say, respect your body because you realize it's a divine temple of the sacred, divine, feminine, Christos. You decide to feed it only organic food and ideally breathe mostly pure oxygen. And your cannabis is mostly organic or outdoor greenhouse, ideally greenhouse. After a while, you realize that it's important, and it's what your nature is to treat your fleshy clay suit as a holy temple, and through understanding the proper things that your body needs, learning to listen to what your body needs, and limit your diet, and eliminate things that kill your body, such as sugar, which I've done through nutrition, the study of nutrition on yourself, experimenting with healthy nutrition. You can learn how nutrition, limiting your diet, can free you literally from health, from disease, from mental illness, not just obesity. Another way is near-death experiences. This happened to me, as I've said before, when they say I fell over on my bike and a PG&E truck ran me over and broke 15 bones, which I don't really believe exactly is what happened, but 10 lawyers I contacted refused to try my case because I blacked out. So, however, I did think, it's time for me to start over, start a church or start a service, which has ended up about a year later being this. And in the last 5 years before that happened to me, I read about 3 or 4 books about people who had near-death experiences, and they came back to life and became more responsible with their life. It's more spiritually responsible, And so you have to understand the limits. The reason why Santa Cruz, California sucks in most situations, in the second bardo, why the people's energy suck and why they act like idiots a lot of times, and unless they're very clear, is because I'm running late. I got to pay the property tax. I got to pay my rent. Wage slavery or property tax slavery. So you got to see how economics is actually a hologramic overlay. The overlord, the demiurge overlords, and how they control the quality of living in some place. If there's no price control, if it's Gouge City on the rent, for example. In another way, again, your fear of death can be used against death. Okay. Because if you realize that now is the only moment you're 100% certain that you have right now, you cannot procrastinate. For me, as a triple Sagittarius, procrastination, I always said, was a nail in my coffin. Now, if I can get rid of that habit, some said, this one thing, one person said, procrastination is extreme denial. And I would say that I add fear to that because I will block things I'm afraid of. And not do it out of this person I was sure was an Illuminati infiltrator into the trailer park at UCSC. Told me, though, they professed to love me, but they told me one time, I think your greatest fear is your fear of success. Well, I was thinking, well, it's because I don't want to associate with traumatic, overgrown 30-something-year-old children like you, and so. So you got to see how Satan or Lucifer and the secret society, the Illuminati, the Khazarian mafias, many unnecessary limitations since the Brotherhood of the Snake. How they, for example, this artificial engineered weather I'm in now. By the way, thank you so much, Lockheed and Bill Gates, because I really think I might enjoy actually helping someone grow. And enjoy this year in California, because this is going to greatly lessen the arsonist season. So thank you, brothers, with your idiotic attempts to take over the planet through nanotech rain, because you're really helping to get rid of arsonist season. So why I'm less free as a hermit? It's unless I travel around, it's if I stay a hermit, it's no hierogamic union. It's a lazy thing to, as far as my greatest fear being probably of love, sexual love. So no sexual freedom possible without a relationship, or sexual relationship, because you don't. I'm not saying you have to reproduce, but you're not going to grow. So I'm only growing, socially, platonically, unless this, leads to that, my healing that through, the confidence that it helps me to have to make content. So, knowing more of your limits, you can become more free through faith in the Christ within by diligently, harmlessly following your lifetime's blueprint as best you can. You'll have more freedom. Okay. Denial of your needs or your spiritual needs is spiritual or mental lockdown. If you just toe the line and obey what you're told and deny your spiritual needs, you're going to stay locked down. Yeah?